We're back, Jack, for another episode with the MVM Show. Glad you guys can join us for another one. We appreciate all the support. Guys, if you haven't already, please give us a rating and review on iTunes. It means a lot to us and it helps us spread the word for the podcast. I almost said YouTube, but we also have Mid-Valley Mercenaries if you happen to look at that. But we have somebody today I think you guys are really going to enjoy. He's on YouTube as well, and every time I watch his content, I'm drooling, wishing that I could be with him pulling the trigger, and that's Jake from Chasing Green. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Yeah, glad to. We've been talking a little bit here and there for the last couple months and maybe trying to work something out. But that I don't know if it's the last video you put out, but that one where you and Glenn were out there just kind of in a little pothole and some timber just got my blood pumping.
Yeah, I didn't want you to see that, actually, because it was going to give you too high of expectations. That was one of those rare magical days, man.
You know what, though?
Between.
You know what, though, Jake? You've been saying that. That's like the third video you've told me that on, so I'm starting to I think you're lying to me now, man.
Nah, man, we got a 60-day season, and about 45 of them are not like that, and then you get 10 or 15 that turn out like you want. That last one was a good one. We were fired up that day. Of course, it was like a 5-mile round trip walk, so we put in the effort for them for sure.
Oh yeah, we know about those long walks. We like long walks in the timber too, man, so don't be afraid. that'll be on
it looks like y'all been tearing the teal up pretty good.
I wouldn't say we tore them up too good, but we did all right. Yeah, I mean, it was duck hunting. It's like for us to hunt in September, versus waiting until the end of October. Like our season is. It's a privilege, to get out and do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting prepared for duck season, but it doesn't feel like duck season yet. When it's 110 degrees, it doesn't feel like duck season.
No, not here.
Right? Oh
yeah, here in California. Yeah,
which it's cooled down a lot.
It has.
Yeah. So
it's kind of the same thing here. You're like fighting mosquitoes and cottonmouths during teal season.
That is one thing I am glad we're not dealing with.
And if you're in South Arkansas, you're fighting gators. So
combo hunt.
Not great for dogs.
Nah. Yeah. That's one thing I've thought about that I would really be nervous. I think I told Thomas that we'd seen a video where this guy was sending his dog on a bird and there was a big gator swimming around. I was like, I just don't think I'd be sending Rocky with the big gator in that water, man. It makes you so nervous.
Heck, man, like 2 years ago, we shot a wood duck down, and I mean, it was like cold, 29 degrees. Like, you wouldn't expect gators to be out. I went and got that wood duck and came back. Like, it was kind of like a cow pond type deal. We were standing on the bank, but that gator popped up like right where I walked through. He was definitely looking to check out what had just came through his area.
Oh man.
And he was like a 10 or 11 footer. You wouldn't want him latching to your leg.
Oh man.
But
yeah, some guy on Instagram was just hitting me up and talking about coming down to shoot whistlers in Florida and some model ducks. And I was like, yeah, dude, maybe next year or whatever. But then he has another picture, and he sent me a picture of the 12-foot gator they just got. And I was like, I'll do that too. And he's like, oh, we got plenty of them. And I was like, gosh, it'd be so fun, but it'd be a rush, man. Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah, man. I've wanted to do it forever. They've just kind of started really opening it up here in Arkansas. So hopefully in the future we'll get to do that. That'd
be awesome footage to see something like that. So tell us about your channel and your social media and all that stuff before we really get rolling.
Well, we pretty much just do straight YouTube and Instagram. We kind of got started. I think this is going to be our 4th season. And we just try to film, our everyday stuff, kind of like almost like a journal type deal, just what we're doing and trying to put as much of the story as we can in there so people can learn from it. And it's just a cool thing to do. It definitely changes the game, though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's that's just kind of our goal with our channel, I guess you could say, is just to fire people up for duck season and make people better hunters. So
yeah, you guys do a good job of that too, because you're willing and Glenn's willing to put the gun down, so one of the other you can shoot and you actually get really good footage. Because I use a GoPro, but in all reality, honestly, I hate that thing. I hate wearing it, and it makes the birds look farther. And so guys like you and Elliot from Freelance and Cherry Creek Outdoors, they just use the camera. Aiden does it a little bit different. He'll kind of throw it down once he shoots, but at least you just get the foot in. That's our goal this year, is to use our camcorder. I've had it for like 4 years, and you can zoom in like 20 powers. So I really enjoy watching your content because you get that, up close and personal look.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, that's definitely what we're going for. We want it to be high quality, above the cut, and because it's just, YouTube is just flooded with the GoPro stuff, and it works, but, it's just a better experience. But let me tell you, man, if you ever get to doing that, it is super difficult to go from like hunt mine mode to film mine. Like when we're switching up like that, like, the first few years I'd be trying to film, but I'd have a duck call in my other hand, trying to still hunt, and you just cannot do that. Like you either got to be filming or you got to be hunting.
Yeah.
We missed a lot of shots and a lot of camera shots, and just messed things up royally before we really got it down pat.
Yeah. Filming is just a whole nother level of frustration for duck. I mean, because the biggest thing is you're in water,
Yeah.
And so
with high dollar equipment.
Exactly. You drop it, and like you said, all three of us, me, Thomas, and Travis, we're here to duck hunt, right? So for us just to pick a camera up and sacrifice, if there's enough birds, it's one thing. We just always talk about if there's not a lot, it's kind of like, well, this one's going to stay a GoPro hunt because we got to get what we can get while we can,
Yeah. Yeah. And we would do that too. We blew a lot of hunts, or like a lot of hunts that could have been a show. Like if we had just kept plugging away, we would have got enough, but we'd be like, it's not going to work. Let's just get what we can, but once you get used to it, it really starts to kind of come together, and it kind of becomes its own challenge. It kind of becomes part of it. Like you want to get them on camera just as much as you want to get them in the decoys and kill them. It kind of becomes like the new hunt.
Yeah, it does for sure. So tell us about some of the challenges that you faced as a public land hunter. What's some of the challenges you're facing out there every day of duck season?
Well, everybody likes, especially here in Arkansas, it's one of the most densely, hunted states. They like to complain about, or a lot of people, talk about pressure. And we just try to take the opposite approach of that. We try not to let it bother us or even bring it into the mindset, So just the biggest challenges over the previous years was really branching out into new ground. Like we were kind of hesitant to do that. We were hunting the places we grew up hunting. And the more we expanded, just the better our hunting game got. And we should have did that a long time ago. So we were way too hesitant to just kind of stay in the same routine, same places that we've hunted our whole lives. And we should have just kept getting on new ground, because every time we did that, we would, find just amazing spots to add to the, list. Mm-hmm. So that was probably our biggest challenge. But, pressure, people would say pressure because there's definitely some crazy, pressure stories that come from Arkansas, but we try not to let that get us down too much. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really affect us a whole lot. Like you hear people talking about. I can think of very few times where it was like pressure's fault that we didn't kill ducks. But I guess it does happen.
Yeah. What's some of the stuff that you take with you out in the field? And I'm talking about down to just the littlest of things. Like what tools are you using to get the gear out there? What gear are you using for hunting? Like what decoys, all that stuff. Like when you're getting ready to go out and you're getting ready to head out into the timber to hunt, what are you taking with you?
Gotcha. Well, it's changed drastically over the years. We used to have a lot more electrical decoys, but here in Arkansas, they made it to where it's dirt string only and standard decoys, so we can't use a mojo or, splash and stuff, anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that knocked all that stuff out on public land. Now you can on private, but on public it's dirt string only.
Why why would that be? Because it would seem like they would. That don't make any sense, really.
Well, like it was really for the timber why they did that, because people would put out like 15 or 20 mojos in the timber, and it's just a lot different game than like doing it in open water. Like it's just a lot more effective. because the ducks really can't see anything but that flashing down through the tree limbs. And they wanted to bring it back to kind of the old school way, which was calling. Like, kind of people could not know how to call now and go out there with 10 mojos, and a lot of hunters didn't like that. Back in the day, and now it's back to how many callers you got and how good you can call. Because in Arkansas, the way you really get them in a timber is with 9 or 10 good callers just hammering, and you can pull ducks from like a mile away, or half mile away. But,
which proves how good ducks can hear.
Oh yeah.
I try to tell
no
people
doubt.
that they want to talk loud in the blind, and ducks can't. And I'm like, dude, they can hear. You got to be quiet and hold still.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you got 8, 9, 7 even guys that can really call and are really getting on it, like in the timber, it doesn't work like that really in the fields and stuff. But you can pull ducks from a long ways, way further than you would think. But anyway, back to the thing. We kind of downsized after that. And now we just take 12 to 15 standard decoys. We use packable mallards by Dakota because they're so light.
Yeah, they're good.
And they move like better than any decoy I've ever seen, just because they're so light.
Right.
Any kind of wind will push them. So we use that and a standard jerk string. And we really kind of just Glenn, my partner, he likes to put all his stuff in a sled and drag it. And I like the sled once we're out in the water, but I hate dragging that thing on dry ground. I'm not dragging it.
Okay, so I was assuming that you would just get right in the water as soon as you get to a park. I'm just imagining this. Get to a parking lot, you get your stuff, you step in the water, and you walk out there. So that's obviously not how it goes, huh?
Oh no. Most of our, well, it kind of depends on where you are, but I'd say 80% is like you're walking halfway on dry ground, halfway in water. Like our father's holes, we'd be walking 1.5 miles on dry and 1.5 miles through water.
Okay.
So you're dragging a sled in about 1 mile just on dry ground.
Yeah, and depending on, so you couldn't use a cart or anything? Is it like real mushy ground or?
No, you can't. Well, we never have. I mean, technically, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to leave any equipment behind. So like we couldn't like leave it on the bank, and then because obviously you wouldn't want to carry the wheel part through the water. And we thought about how we would want to do that if we could rig up a way, but Glenn, he's just a beast at dragging that sled, so he don't ever complain, and I don't ever come up with any ways.
That's a good partner right there.
Yeah, he is, man. Great partner. But yeah, I like to put all my stuff in like a Drake backpack because I can carry 100 pounds on my back, but I just don't want to drag it.
Yeah. No, I get that. We drug it we only drug it like 1 mile in Nebraska, and I'm like, nah, I would not. We're used to using carts. I'm like, nah, I just throw it on my back if I had to. I would not drag it.
But once you get out in the water, it's invaluable, especially for filming. Like we can put all of our camera gear on it and like put stuff together. Without it, it would be tough. But yeah, that and that's about really, like I said, we're usually walking long distances, so we try to go as light as possible, only the bare essentials. And, walking that far, it's always usually small spreads and just whatever you can take to make you comfortable, water, food. And it's pretty minimal. Now that we film, we've added an extra 30 or 40 pounds of camera gear. But,
so you guys are pretty much standing up the whole day then too, because I mean, carrying a marsh seat that far and all that stuff is just more bulk, more weight.
Oh yeah. If we're in the timber, you can usually find like a dead tree that's fell over and sit on it. But yeah, usually, especially when we're hunting like beaver ponds and swamp stuff, you're standing up all day. And sometimes if it's short, I will take like a mojo seat, but that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I wish I had one. It's just too much,
What calls do you guys like running?
We both use Echo.
Okay.
I started using those when I was like 13 and was hooked, man. They're the thing. A lot of people have switched those cut downs, and they sound great, but it's kind of a different style, and I never got into it.
So which one do you use?
I use the Echo single reed timber Coca-Cola, which I got super blessed because Cocobolo is real finicky. Like, it's wood, so obviously it's like different densities in each call. Like, no two calls are hardly going to sound the same. So you may blow 10 and 2 of them are going to be like amazing, and then 5 will probably be okay, and then the rest of them are like, I probably wouldn't want that one, you know. So wow. I got super blessed just to get an awesome one, and I'm just hoping I never crack it or lose it or anything.
Yeah, no kidding. Is that what Glenn's using too?
He uses the same thing, but in acrylic. Which acrylic's fine. It's definitely more durable. It's a little sharp to me. I like that mellower wood sound.
Oh yeah, I got you.
That's kind of like
it is definitely a different sound for sure.
Yeah.
And so, you guys see anything? Is it mallards only? Not that hurts my feelings, but is there anything else? Every once in a while, you'll see some pintails or anything work through there, or is that more just when you're out in the rice, probably, right?
Well, like I said, we don't do it on film as much. I don't know if you've seen, not our last video, but the one before that. It was like we couldn't kill anything and we were just struggling. But it was like out in this marshy cypress tree, buckbrush type thing. That's what we usually hunt. That's like the majority of our hunting. And out there, it is mostly mallards, but you can kill anything. You know, pintails get in it, lots of teal, gadwall. But in the trees, yeah, you're pretty much going to kill straight mallards and wood ducks.
Do you hunt in that more, the other stuff more because you're more successful? Like, do you have better hunts out there on average?
For sure. And it's kind of just what I grew up hunting, so it's kind of just a special place in the heart, you know. And I just like the challenge of it, man. If you ever watch any of our videos doing it, I mean, it's a pain, man. It's knee deep mud. It's flooded all the time, so there is no hard ground out there. Beaver runs all through it. I mean, you'll go from knee deep to like waist deep in a single step. You know, it's challenging to hunt, and that's why I like it so much, because when you kill them out there, it's super rewarding. And it is easier, man. When you're hunting a spot like that, usually the ducks are coming to like a single spot, a single X, you could say. Whereas in the trees, they're more using like a general 20 acres. It's not really an X, you know. And that like hurt us when we first started hunting timber, because we were used to hunting that other stuff. Every time they would start landing somewhere, we'd like pick up and run over there. Well, they're going over here. Well, we got to move, you know. But what you want to do is just get where they're thickest and just stay put, and you'll get, you know, you'll pull them every once in a while. That's kind of the trick to hunt the trees.
Yeah, I'm trying to let Thomas. I don't know if he's not saying nothing because he don't have nothing to say, or I don't like gaps in talking, so I'm usually just on it as soon as someone stops talking. Did you have something you want?
No, yeah. Going back to earlier, I was just curious how many times you guys hear of hunters getting tangled up with alligators. I know this was kind of towards the beginning of the podcast, but it's something quick I thought about. Like, have you ever, any of your buddies or anybody you know, like actually got tangled up with gators duck hunting?
I think I've heard of it happening twice, and it was just like guys getting bit on the leg from stepping on them.
Oh, really?
Because like,
so they don't really target people then?
No, man. Okay. They're like super skittish most of the time. But like in the winter, you know, water is usually warmer than the air temperature. Oh. So like if they haven't went into, you know, that kind of hibernation mode and it turns real cold real quick, they'll like get on the bottom because it's warmer down there. And try to wait it out, you know, so they can get out. And that's usually what happens is guys will like step on them, you know. But I've never heard of a guy like getting targeted. I've heard of people shooting ducks and like gators eating their ducks before they can get to them.
Hopefully it wasn't banded.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even imagine stepping on an alligator.
No.
Oh man, our first opening day last year, we went to a new spot and was scouting it the day before, and I mean there was like 3 or 4 gators in that one hole, and I was definitely nervous the next morning.
I think cottonmouths.
Say what?
Cottonmouths. That's what I'd be more afraid of than a.
Would you?
I think that I hate snakes.
Yeah, I hate snakes too.
Yeah, cottonmouths, they will target you. They're aggressive, buddy.
And I bet they are fast on the water too, huh?
Yeah, they will. They're mean, man.
How often are you guys seeing them?
Snakes. Man, it really depends on the winter. Like early, we'll usually see a few during duck season. It just kind of, and if like a big flood comes, like you're hunting the trees, so snakes live all out there. And when the water comes up, like
They're
the
up on the
snakes
trees.
are running the high ground, it's not the greatest thing to walk up on one because you're not really looking for them. Obviously when you're duck hunting out in the middle of the water, but you'll run up on them from time to time.
Yeah, that just gives me the willies talking about it, man. It's like I couldn't run fast enough, but then you don't want to turn your back on them. But I guess if you're, I would not be letting that shotgun go for sure. I would never just set it down. I'd just be consistently carrying that thing.
Usually after November, they're kind of done with. But it's unless it's been like the past 2 winters, which has just been terrible.
This is probably going to be oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I was just going to say on a normal cold winter, it's usually not, that big of a problem. Okay.
Well, this is going to probably be a stupid question, but what are the gators doing in the wintertime when you said they didn't get out quick enough? Are they, where do they hibernate?
They're kind of like a snake. They go into like hibernation and
like in a hole somewhere, or like where are they going?
Yeah, they usually kind of have like a kind of nest type thing similar to what they lay their eggs in. And they usually just kind of cover up for the winter and they won't stay hibernated all winter like a bear or anything, but they'll kind of hole up anytime it's cold. And if you get a warm day, they will come out and grab some sun, but they'll usually kind of stay in somewhat sleep mode. They quit eating pretty much and just kind of survive for the most part.
I'm glad we don't have those things out here.
Yeah, no kidding. I would like to hunt one or catch one or shoot one, but to hunt around it, no. I would not.
Yeah, it's not the greatest, man. They can definitely, make you be thinking about them when you're out there. That's for sure.
So how'd you get into duck hunting? Was it like your dad, or was it your family friend, or how'd you get into it?
Well, yeah, around where I'm from, pretty well everybody duck hunts, so it's definitely a cultural thing. And my dad was super into it. He was a hardcore duck hunter, so I think my mom said like the first time they took me, I was like 2 or something like that. I mean, I've been going since I can remember. My dad got me a duck call for my first birthday and been kind of messing around with one ever since. And he was carrying me just every chance he got, which I'm really appreciative for, because I know I was messing up some hunts and all that, but going from that early on was awesome. I mean, it taught me a lot. He made me wait a while before I started shooting, like more than most kids. And during that time, I learned more about calling ducks than I ever would have if I'd just been worried about shooting. It was a good thing that he did that, because I really was watching and paying attention versus like worrying about pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
What calls did your dad used to use?
Man, that was in the heyday of Duck Commander, so he was big on that. And,
really?
Haydales, they were big around here. Which I called my first duck in with a Duck Commander. Those original ones were some bad dudes. I wish I still had that one.
Was it the wood one?
Yeah, the original wood one. It was a good call, man. It's hard to blow, but it was a good call.
Does your dad have any of those old calls laying around still?
Yeah, he's got a few, man. We've lost most of them through the years. Unfortunately, he had a bunch of cool old ones, and I wish I had them now. But you know how things just disappear over time.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Does he hunt much anymore?
Well, he actually passed away a couple of years ago, but he had kind of got out of it. Just the public ground games kind of hard on the older guys, But he was about it, man. Their whole group, he was with a group of guys that was just real hardcore on it. I mean, they duck hunted every day, all duck season. And all public ground, so that was kind of what I was harping back to earlier. What hurt us is I was hunting all these spots that they taught me, and like it took me a while to like branch out, because I was just kind of hunting history, I guess you could say. And because they had pretty much spent 30 years learning everything, and then they taught it to us, so that was a big time help for sure.
Yeah, that was tough for us. So we started we've always hunted around here, and I always just went where Travis went because he's the one that got me into duck hunting, and it was really, the spots to go, and you're comfortable with them, and you just don't really want to do something else. And then, a couple years ago, me and Talon had left and said, let's go up, go up north. Let's just go somewhere we haven't been and let's try something out. And just, it kind of opened our minds to how many things were out there. And then we just started going out of state. So it's been kind of a roller coaster the last couple of years of different states, different areas. And there's times that you pay the price for going somewhere you don't know nothing about. But how are you going to get any more places to go and any more experiences, opportunities if you don't make those sacrifices,
I hunted the same refuge for what?
20-something.
15, 20 years?
20 years.
The same refuge and never branched out. But I had never killed a Drake pintail at that refuge that I hunted. Not that they weren't there. I just never got one. And I had a buddy that's like, hey, you should try this refuge. And went over there the first day there. I killed a Drake pintail. So it was like, okay.
Yeah. That branching out, man, it's awesome once you get used to it. But like you were saying, Titus, it's just like, it's hurt us a few times in our past videos because we were on them enough to kill them, but because we had never hunted there, we would do things a little not right, and it would keep us from really getting them. We would really need to be 50 yards over or something like that. And this stuff you learn from hunting a place several times. But it's really addictive though. Once you get used to it, you kind of start liking that adventure part of it. Finding new places, finding new ducks. It becomes, super addicting. And I got thousands of places on my bucket list I'd like to go.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But we were the same way. We hunted the same refuge for 15 or 20 years. And, I was the same 2 or 3 before we ever really started branching out, which they were always good. We did good there, but when it was slow and no ducks there, we were just out of luck.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were talking about branching out and learning, you need to be 50 yards over this or that. I was just going to ask, on an average day, is it basically morning flight, and if you kind of mess up in the morning, that's kind of it? Or is it steady throughout the day, or a morning and evening type of deal on normal hunt days?
Yeah. Here in Arkansas, you have to be off pretty well all public ground by 12, or you got to be done hunting by 12 and off by 1.
Gotcha.
But any time through that, it can be great. We've had a lot of mornings, especially in years past, not so much in the past couple, but we've had days where we wouldn't fire a shot until 9 o'clock, and then from 9 to 10 kill the limit, the light switch just turns on.
Gotcha.
A lot of times they'll come out of the rice fields and stuff from feeding, and now they're coming to loaf in the trees or wherever you are. And, it'll just be if you had left early, you would have never got in on it.
Right.
So,
yep.
And I like killing them late. That's my favorite time. I like it when the sun's up and on them. I don't like those. I'll take it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like those 15-minute hunts where you just slaughter them early. Those are always the least memorable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's dark, it's over fast, and it's just, if you've been in a dry spell, sure, but if I'd rather do, like you said, a little bit later. You got the light, you got, time, it makes the hunt better, I think.
Oh yeah, way better. But yeah, and the rice fields and stuff we hunt, and the places we are able to hunt later, you can get some good, especially on migration days, some good flights at 2:30. That's another prime time that we found. It's kind of the light switch to turn on then too.
So you've done your share of packing out in the dark, coming out in the dark after a hunt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've stayed all day, get there before daylight and come out after dark.
I think a lot of people that don't know, that haven't grown up in duck hunting, that are older, I think they always think of duck hunting as an early morning sport. Once it's over, you're done. You go home. But because a lot of people comment yeah, man, you guys did good for the afternoon. Oh, you did good. And it's we hunt both, and Travis has become a big advocate for afternoon hunts just because you don't really fight the afternoon or the morning crowds like you do in the afternoon. So we've had awesome hunts in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, man. That's the same thing here. our public grounds will be like super crowded until 8:30, and then boats are cranking up and everybody's leaving. Like, if there's somebody there after 8:30, they're banging. Like,
Really?
That's the only time. Like, I'd say 75% of the hunters roll out, and
That's
then
crazy.
it's kind of
That's
the
early.
OG hard.
Is it the college football or what is it?
I don't know, man. I think it's just like what y'all are saying. It's like people think that it's either going to go down early or not at all, and that's just not the case. I don't know what it is.
That's weird.
But we like it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
because once everybody gets out of there, it's a lot better. So, I mean, there's no doubt, though. I mean, we've had spots, especially private spots, that you're not going to see a duck there until after lunch. I mean, no matter what day it is. So if you never hunted there in the afternoon, you'd never know that. You would just go to scout it and see a bunch on it. And you'd be like, well, I guess I don't know when they're getting there. But yeah, we like that late morning and afternoon stuff. It's fun.
Now, is a boat something you guys could use? And obviously, it's something that's not cheap, but is that something you could use, or do you prefer doing it the way you're doing it now, just out of curiosity?
Oh, we would prefer a boat. We're just super broke. but the boats are definitely the way to go. I mean, most places, it's really challenging to hunt Arkansas without one. Yeah. We've just been doing it so long. We found good ways to get around it. But by far, the majority of the hunting here is done by boat. You can do a lot more, especially a mud motor. You can do a lot more with those.
And that's what I thought. But when you started talking about how you're walking 1.5 miles on the dry ground and then 1.5 miles in the water, then I'm thinking, how in the world can a boat benefit? Because I'm thinking, like I said, I'm always thinking boats in Arkansas. But if it's like that, then...
Well, see, if you are walking, that's what you got to do to be successful. You got to go where a boat can't get. Oh, okay. And you got to get further than anybody else is going to go most of the time. Gotcha. And that's kind of why we have to walk that far. There's very few short walk-ins that are good. There are some, don't get me wrong, but in a lot of places you can get to, walking or boat. It's just, if you're walking, it's going to take way longer and you're usually going to get beat. It kind of just depends, but we would prefer a boat, and we do use boats and have boats. It's just, we kind of built our game so long on walking. We just have a lot of good spots like that.
I got you.
But yeah, the boats are definitely the way to go, especially a mud motor. You can just like pull right in the hole and step out. It's great.
So are you scouting by boat? Because if it's that far back in there, obviously it doesn't seem like you could scout from a road or something. Like you're like actually taking your boat out there to scout and then you walk in, or how are you doing that?
Man, in Arkansas, on public ground anyway, most public ground, there really isn't any scouting, especially now. Just in the past few years, they've really changed the rules to where you can only be in there, during hunting time, basically.
Wow.
So it's like you basically got to burn a day. But what we do a lot is we have these places. We've hunted just about everywhere, so we know kind of like where we can go to see what's going on. Like we'll have these certain spots that are good vantage points, and we're hunting too, but we're really just looking to see what's going on. And then the next few days we'll adjust. That's kind of how we do our scouting.
So
but
basically you're hunting and you're scouting at the same time, and then the next day you can come back to that spot or whatever.
Yeah, and these spots are usually good spots too. We sometimes kill them there. If we're going someplace completely new, we will we do a lot of scouting like preseason. We'll either deer hunt or squirrel hunt or something, just to kind of get the lay of the land, kind of get the terrain down if we've never been there in our lives, and just kind of see what it looks like then. And then we'll come in and burn the first day and not even really hunt, just like walk around, watch, see what other hunters are doing, see what the ducks are doing, and then really set up for that day 2, day 3. Very rarely do we ever walk into a brand new spot and just, you know how it is. You got to get just super lucky or super blessed to have it go down the first time,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one thing that does suck about Arkansas, though. I wish we could somehow scout better, but it's just really no way to do it.
Yeah.
Because before they changed that, there would just be 30, 40 boats out there riding around, running everything up.
Yeah.
scouting in the afternoons and stuff like that. So
is that
they
just
shut 'em.
your area, or is that the whole state of Arkansas?
That's the whole state of Arkansas on public ground.
Okay. Is Louisiana like that too?
I don't know. I've never hunted Louisiana, so I'm not sure. I don't think that they have the problems, as far as hunter numbers as we do.
Yeah.
There's some hunting, like public grounds, like very few that are not like that, because there's all different types. We have like state land, Corps of Engineer land, federal land, and they all kind of got their own rules to them,
Gotcha. So when's your season start?
November 18th or something like that, somewhere in there.
That's late.
Man, you got to wait for a while.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I hate it. But
now, when does it end? How many days is your season typically? Do you have a split season, or is it straight through?
It's a 60-day split season. So
okay.
we'll take like 10-day break in December, and then like a 2-day break around Christmas. And it ends the very last day in January. So it's kind of short, but it's kind of good we're hoping to start going to like North Dakota and Oklahoma and stuff, because they open up way earlier than we do. So.
Okay, so you guys are traveling then out of state, and
we're just now starting to, hopefully.
So you're gonna go to the Dakotas this year?
We're hoping to. Glenn farms, so
nice.
Harvest can just get all out of whack. Like, there's just no way to time that. If it's raining every day, it's going to be super delayed. So we're hoping to, but if it may not work out.
Just kind of freelance it.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we like to do just for our channel. Yeah. We don't like to, use Instagram or stuff to talk to people, because the average guy just can't do that. So we like to just go off maps and what anybody else would,
Right. Yeah. That I was talking to Travis when we were in Nebraska, and I was like, man, I think next year I might do that. Is just go up there, either go up there and freelance early goose, or possibly just go there for duck season when it's not open here, because I know they open for us. Something like that. Do something different next year,
Sure. Yeah. Fun. Yeah. Yeah, I want to go there too. I wanted to do early goose in North Dakota. They start in like August 15th or something like that. That'd be awesome.
No kidding. And there's so many geese there, man. I don't know how they are with permission and stuff and getting that, but and I don't know what their public land looks like. I haven't really looked on Onyx or nothing, but
yeah,
I've heard a lot of people say
you use Onyx a lot.
I mean a lot more so when we go out of state and we don't know where we're at. But yeah, we use it, I would say, quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, us too. It was a game changer for us as far as learning new places.
Well, it's just nice knowing, okay, I'm on public land. You know what I mean? I don't like that. Okay, where's the borderline? Where's the tree that's private and this side's, public.
Yeah. We use it all the time. It's a great all-in-one deal.
It is, yeah. It is.
But are y'all planning any more trips before y'all's opens?
Not before. No, we'll wait for ours, and then we'll be going to Washington, and then we'll be going. I will personally be going for the Flyways Collective deal in Kansas later in the year. So that's
here.
What's that? Yes, and I told Thomas, I go, if I can squeeze that in somehow, I really want to. Honestly, I do. Because my schedule is perfect for it. It's the finances. If I can make it happen really, really cheap, I think I could convince my wife to let me go one more time. She was already like giving me a hard time about 3 trips besides all the duck hunting I do around here. But
well, we'd love to have y'all, man. Can't promise that we would, deliver any ducks, but
well, that's never a guarantee. That's never a guarantee. And that's just like we went to early till. It wasn't no incredible. Like last year, it was incredible. Like limits, we could have limited in like 20 minutes last year, but we waited for those decoy shots and all that stuff. And this year was slower. Travis got to go. He's never been to Nebraska. I just enjoyed that. I enjoyed that trip. It was super short, but it was just fun. And like you said, it's never about the limits. It's about the journey going there. Experience. The journey itself is the best part of it, because the crazy things happen. But it's like that being said, me and Thomas said we don't want to sit there and be skunked for like 3 weeks. I mean, you obviously want to kill ducks or you wouldn't be going out there, but it's not like, oh man, I'm so mad I only shot 4 instead of 7. You know, it's like that's never been our attitude. Because I mean, one bird can make it epic. You know, like a pintail or just one blue wing or whatever. We can
the backstory
of it. So.
Yeah, and what I think was cool about Nebraska, I could say, hey, yeah, I've shot ducks in Nebraska.
Right.
You know, it didn't have to. I didn't have to limit.
Right.
But just to be in there and experience it, seeing the country, that was rewarding for me, and just trying to soak up just every minute. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That was an awesome looking spot. It looked cool.
It's cool. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how much map.
Y'all not have early teal there?
No.
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 I didn't know that.
I don't really know does anywhere on this West Coast have any type of, I mean, we have an early goose in early October, but I don't think West
I don't know
Coast.
What's the closest. I think it's Central. The Central Flag.
Yeah,
is
like the
the
closest.
Teal, Texas, and
I don't know, Washington, all them, they don't have none of that.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, so. Well, hey, give us one crazy story, maybe one of your craziest stories, and then we'll end this podcast and let you go. I know I kind of put you on the spot. I usually try to warn everybody. Something maybe unexpected or something crazy. It's hard to pull those out of the bag.
Maybe a special bird that you didn't, a hybrid. A high point.
Man,
quadruple landed.
we usually don't have too much crazy stuff, but I mean, I guess like it wasn't super crazy, but the first thing that comes to mind was last year. Like we were off way deep in this WMA or this public ground, and Glenn just got some kind of chest pains started happening to him. Like I'm just like thinking the worst, you know, he's having a heart attack.
It's
at
a
like
big boy to carry out of there.
How
much is that dude? How big is he?
I mean, he's not super big. He's like, I don't know, 5'10".
Oh, really?
215, something like that.
Oh, he looks. How tall are you? Because the reason I'm asking, I know this sounds weird, because when I watch people on YouTube channel, I was telling Travis on the way there, all the dudes of the Flyways Collective are big dudes. Like, not tall. I mean, it's not real tall, but they're like all like 6'3". Like Jordan from Duck Gun, he's like 6'2". And I'm like, what? I'm like, in the videos, they all look shorter. I don't know. It's just a perception thing. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. Yeah, I'm only like 5'9", so I'd be like a little midget among those guys.
Yeah, I was a short.
Hey, you'd fit it with me, man. I'm only 5'9", but I probably outweigh you by 75 pounds.
Matt from High Prairie Sportsman's the shortest, and then I'm the next shortest, and everyone else is like Tom's is my brother's height. It's like, man, a bunch of corn-fed boys over here.
Yeah, camera definitely plays the tricks, but yeah, man, I was worried about him, how I was going to get him out of there and if he was going to make it. But while he was like in the worst pain of his life, these like thousands of ducks are just pouring in this hole, like 200 yards from us. And you know, moral of the story, we walked out with our limit instead of him.
Hey, you know what? That's probably what saved his life, is seeing all those greenheads drop in there.
Yeah,
he had a reason to live.
Yeah. Got the heart back going.
Oh, it was just like a jolt of, like the
paddles.
Mallards. I'm awake. I'm alive.
Yeah, that's like we got it all on camera too, man. It was a crazy hunt. It was one of those places we'd never been in our lives, and just happened to stumble upon a raft of thousands of mallards, and it just worked out, you know.
Man, no kidding.
Thousands of mallards. That's like music to the ears.
That is, and that gives my heart flutters. I definitely think I could find a way out there somehow. The Lord will bless us. We'll pray. Start praying right now, and by the time December rolls around,
for sure, man. I definitely want to get y'all out here, man.
It would just be cool content and video, even if you didn't see that many birds. It's just the fact of being in the timber would just be cool. I just want to blow a duck call in the timber and hear the echo.
Yeah, if you come for enough time, I'm sure we could get on them. That's kind of the thing. You got to kind of spend a few days figuring them out, and then you may get on them one out of 3 or 4.
Yeah,
but usually the longer you can kind of stay and put towards getting on them, obviously the better your chances.
Does your job allow you to hunt every day of the season, pretty much?
Yeah, I specifically picked my job for that.
Oh, nice. What do you do?
I started a lawn care and landscaping business.
Oh,
so,
that's perfect.
like, it's out of season. Yeah, it was either that or farm. So Glenn went the farming route, and I went the lawn care route.
Nice. That's very smart, man. There. That's so fun. We were just talking to Joel from Surviving Duck Season, and he was talking about how we're all talking about how we base things around duck hunting. It's just like everything we do involves, okay, this is how I got to make this work, you know? You need to pick a career that does that.
Yeah, my wife just doesn't understand like how we're so addicted to it.
They don't.
Like every decision I've ever made in my life somehow revolved around getting more time to duck hunt. Like when I was in college, I was in college for like 3 years, and I don't think I went a single day when duck season was.
And look where you are today.
Obviously I'm a dropout.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, give us your social medias. Let us know where everybody can find you.
Yeah, sure, man. So just on YouTube, Chasing Green, and then on Instagram @_ChasingGreen_. And that's pretty much the only two things we're doing. So
perfect.
Check us out. Like I said, we got a lot of public ground duck hunting stuff, and we do some crappie fishing stuff too when it's not duck season, bass fishing. So we try to keep the content coming when we can.
You want to know something funny? That's the first video I ever seen. It somehow it popped up in my recommended, and I was like, "What in the world? These guys got 200 and 300,000 views on a crappie fishing video." And then that's when I started seeing your duck hunting stuff. So that's kind of funny. That's where I actually first seen your channel.
Yeah, that video blew up. We smashed them that day. That was awesome. That was like right when duck season went out. We were like dead, pretty much walking zombies.
Yeah,
because we've been duck hunting, but yeah, the crappie were on that day.
Wow. Well, thanks for coming on. What's that? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna just end the podcast if you got something else though.
No, I was just gonna ask if y'all got into that. If y'all were into,
I bass fish a lot. I did. I haven't really the last probably 9 months or so, but I had a boat for 3 years and went pretty heavy. But no, I've always wanted someone to take me crappie fishing, but Josh, one of our friends, he does it a little bit, but I wouldn't say anybody that's really, really good at it. That
hardcore,
hardcore
nothing,
crappie fishing.
Yeah, no.
But I wanted to learn how to do it because I felt completely in the dark about it.
They're good eating. I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, they're great eating, man. Yeah, you're in the land of the giants, man. I wish I could do some bass fishing out there.
Oh yeah,
Do you
we've
fish
had a
the
lot.
Delta?
You know what? I fished it probably 3 or 4 times. It's crazy. It's tricky. It's hard. So I've fished out there 3 or 4 times with some friends and seen some monsters and tried to fish on, get some. My friends caught. I have a lot of friends that bass fish a lot, and they've caught some monsters. They've got them hanging on their walls. 8-pounder, 10-pounder. Bobby Riggs caught a 15-pounder. He's got that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's
it's insane.
Giant.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Yeah, that's my second love. So I've always wanted to get out there, Texas, and try to get a double digit. I still hadn't broke that.
You always got the open invitation to come out here. My friend's got a boat, and he's always looking for a reason to go out. So
awesome.
Anyways, all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this podcast. Check out Jake's channel and Glenn's channel, Chasing Green. You guys won't be disappointed if you love duck hunting. You want to see some stuff in the timber. Trust me, it'll get your blood boiling for the season, guys. A lot of you guys are already hunting. Good luck out there in the field, and we'll see you on the next episode.